Good evening, my Rio Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update. And in the news this evening, man shot dead during armed confrontation with the police in Kingston 13. The police shot and killed an unidentified man during what they say is an armed confrontation on Galloway Road, Kingston 13 on Friday night. A high-point 9mm pistol was reportedly recovered from the deceased. Information received is that members of the Air Force Fugitive Apprehension Team were on patrol in the St. Andrew South Police Division when they were alerted that men were seen along Galloway Road with firearms. It is reported that the team proceeded on foot along Galloway Road and came upon a group of men along the roadway. Upon seeing the police, the men ran into nearby premises. During their pursuit of the men, the team came under gunfire, which was returned, and one individual was shot. The injured man was immediately assisted by the police team to the Kingston Public Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. 15-year-old charged with the murder of delivery man. A 15-year-old boy is the third person charged in relation with the March 4 shooting death of a 46-year-old delivery driver. The teen, who is of a Gardner Land address in St. Mary, has been charged with murder, possession of a prohibited weapon, unauthorized possession of ammunition, and using a firearm to commit a felony. Arthur Neil Sanders, otherwise called Neely, was killed at his home in Tanklin, Oracabessa, also in St. Mary. Reports from the Port Maria police are that about 11:30 p.m., armed men shot Sanders several times as he exited his vehicle at his home. The police were alerted, and the Sanders was transported to the hospital, where he was pronounced dead. The boy was charged in the presence of his parents after he was pointed out on an identification parade. His co-accused, 42-year-old Prince Irving, otherwise known as a Fambo, and 18-year-old Shakon Colthrust, otherwise called the Satan, of St. Mary addresses, had allegedly confessed to committing the crime and were previously charged. A court date is being finalized for all three. Mentally challenged man charged with murder. A man reportedly of unsound mind is facing a murder charge after stabbing 4 men, one fatally in Trelawney. The accused, 34-year-old Doranda Brown of Hague Settlement in the parish, has been charged with 1 count of murder and 3 counts of wounding with intent following an incident in the parish on March 7. Dead is 40-year-old Leroy McIntosh, a laborer of the same address. Reports from the Falmouth police are that about 12:30 p.m., Brown, who was at home with a relative, noticed the McIntosh exiting a vehicle and attacked him with a pair of scissors, inflicting stab wounds to his upper body. Brown went further along the main road and attacked 2 men, inflicting stab wounds to both. On his return, he saw a man assisting McIntosh, who he had assaulted earlier, and went on to attack that man, inflicting stab wounds to his upper body. Police had to rescue Brown after residents attacked him following the incident. The wounded men were taken to the hospital, where McIntosh succumbed to the injuries he sustained. The police were summoned, and Brown was subsequently arrested and charged after a statement was recorded. His court date is being finalized. NEPA investigates moderate fish kill along sections of Rio Cobre. The National Environment and Planning Agency is investigating a fish kill along a section of the Rio Cobre between the communities of Zephyrton and Vanity Fair. The agency has advised that so far, it appears that the toxic substance is contained in that locale. It is therefore advising persons to avoid using the water in that section of the river for domestic or recreational purposes until further notice. NEPA's initial observation indicates that the cause may be associated with a caustic chemical. The water appears cloudy and gives off a caustic scent. This, the latest environmental incident to plague the river, was reported around 6:45 a.m. Saturday. NEPA said it was made aware of the incident via its early warning system. The Rio Cobre, which runs through St. Catherine, has had recurring incidents of chemical spills. NEPA has since begun to train individuals to recognize the signs of chemical spills and other hazards. Police to lift a Porus curfew on Monday if area remains crime-free. Against the backdrop of citizens and the business people in Porus complaining about how a long-running curfew there has affected their livelihood, police say the measure will be lifted on Monday, March 17, with the hope that the area remains free of major crimes. Head of the Manchester Police, Deputy Superintendent Kerry Duncan, told the business people, citizens and the politicians on Friday evening that he will not ask for an extension of the curfew after Monday.
But you also have to make a commitment to me, right? And the commitment that I want to make to you is that the last time we applied for a curfew within the state, it should expire on Monday of next week. If I can get the commitment from you that going forward, we will do all that we can to ensure that this space remains safe for people to do their business, to raise their families, and also have fun. If you can give me that commitment, then I promise you, I guarantee that I will not ask for an extension of the curfew after Monday.
Okay.
But I want one brave somebody from the group to come forward and make that commitment to me. Like I leave my office in the rain, pouring rain, to come here to make that commitment to you, the good people of Porus. Because what we know also know in the sector and ladies, we know that a handful of people here giving problem enough. We know that enough. But what is our challenge? We have people here who are facilitating them. Because we also know that some people leave from all the way where they leave from and come here, come kill people, you know. We know that. So there are some persons who are still within the space that we have interest in. Some people that we want to talk to. Right? And one of the names that readily comes to my mind is a man named Michael Chambers. He's called Panky. I know he comes from somewhere in Old Harbour Bay. We want to speak to him.
But we're not asking a picture.
I don't know him. We don't know him.
Sorry?
I'm doing business and I don't know that gentleman.
You don't know him?
Come on the media so we
Alright,
can see what he look like.
Alright, well, you have
I
to,
don't know what he look like.
yeah, but what you have to understand.
The one from Malaba, I don't know what he look like.
Listen, what you have to understand, you see, is that even though he's somebody who we want to speak to, right? There are some things that, some bureaucracy that we can't breach, some parts that we can't breach. So to put a photograph of him out there now is not wise.
Okay.
It's not wise, right? Because there are some procedures that must be followed, right? But Michael Chambers, otherwise called Panky, from Old Harbour Bay, we would like to speak to a gentleman like that.
KSAMC gives a conditional approval for Fort Rocky event. The Kingston and the St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, along with the key regulatory agencies, conducted a site inspection on Friday at the Fort Rocky in preparation for the highly anticipated Good Times show scheduled for today. Robert Hill, CEO of the KSAMC, was joined by other representatives from the Jamaica Fire Brigade and the commanding officer for Kingston Eastern and the Port Royal, Deputy Superintendent Michelle Campbell. Mr. Hill said the inspection was aimed at assessing compliance with all regulatory requirements before final event approvals are granted. He said during the site visit, minor deviations from the approved plans were identified.
These concerns were addressed with the event promoter, who has committed to implementing the recommended adjustments to ensure full compliance. Discussions focused on patron safety, emergency response preparation, and other protocols, and of course, traffic management. It is to be noted that to facilitate orderly parking, it was confirmed that the patrons must park at designated locations, one being the Port Royal cruise ship pier and the other being the civil aviation parking lot, before being shuttled to the venue. No general parking will be permitted at Fort Rocky, with exceptions made only for production crew and a limited number of dignitaries.
Thank you everyone for watching. See you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for another news update.